Today I'm going to show you how to predict which cryptos are likely to do well based on on-chain fundamentals. And for this, we're going to look at Sonic. Sonic is one of the top performing tokens over the past few weeks. However, if you go back in time and you look at stats like deposits, TVL, you look at revenue, you look at on-chain volume, then there were hints that Sonic was worth paying attention to prior to its price increasing. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do that research yourself using DefiLlama. Now let's get into the video. To start, this needs to be said, I'm showing you this retroactively to teach you how to do research and understand on-chain fundamentals yourself. Sonic is already up a lot. It's up 20% today. It's up even more over the past 7 days. I talked about it in a video nearly a week ago about Sonic DeFi and why it was worth farming at the moment. Now, that doesn't mean that it can't do well now, but I don't want people to misconstrue this as me saying go out and invest in Sonic now. I am going to show you, though, how you could have predicted that Sonic was going to do well, and then how you can hopefully take those lessons to other chains in the future. But yeah, so Sonic is going nuts. In fact, the whole Sonic ecosystem is going crazy. You can see that a lot of DeFi protocols on Sonic are up even more over the past day, 70%, 30%, 40%, and just up huge numbers. Some of them are even up more than 100% over the past week. And maybe this hurts some of you to see, but you actually could have predicted this, or at least you could have known that Sonic was worth researching. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to look at DefiLlama, platform I also work for in addition to running this channel, which is, I would say, the best place to track fundamentals for DeFi projects. And so I'm here on the Sonic chain page, and you see the normal stats here like price, etc. But what we really want to look at is we want to look at the fundamentals compared to the price. And so by default, you see here TVL, that's the sum of deposits in all DeFi protocols on the chain. And then you can add in other stats as well. So for example, we could have added in the price of the S token back in January. And what do you notice here? You see that price was dropping for all of January. However, even as price was dropping, TVL was still growing, and it was growing a lot, right? TVL went from tens of millions up to, by the start of February, around $290 million. And then it just kept climbing, right? So by the time that price bottomed here around the end of the first week of February, the TVL had grown something like 10x nearly from the start of the year. So in other words, usage of the chain is up. More people are depositing more money. However, price was down. And when you see these sorts of dispersions, oftentimes it's an opportunity, unless there's something else going on behind the scenes that you don't know about. That's why I say this is a sign that it's worth researching, but you do still need to do research beyond this. If we go to these toggles again and replace TVL with volume, this is the volume on decentralized exchanges, then you can see a similar pattern where price was dropping throughout January as volume was increasing. Another stat that you might have noticed would be what's called app revenue. This is the sum of the revenue on every application on Sonic. And we can see here, this was actually pretty low for most of January and February. However, about a week ago, it started to jump in a massive way, and the token price did go up with it. However, you could have actually caught most of the tokens move, and in fact, a huge portion of the ecosystem tokens moved by noticing here that the actual money people were spending on applications on Sonic was increasing very rapidly. And again, remember, for a lot of these tokens, they're up 40% or more just in the past day. So you actually, even getting in the past week, you still would have been in relatively early on some of these things. And then the final metric that would have been an early indicator that something worth paying attention to was happening on Sonic would have been the sheer number of applications that were launching on Sonic. You can see here that Sonic, even though it's a relatively young chain, has over 60 applications listed on here. And what this is a sign of is that the chain is not just attracting users. That's what TVL, volume, app revenue showed. It's a sign that the chain is actually attracting developers. And having that combination of users and developers can create a positive flywheel where you have more applications for people to use. So more people come over, or people who are in the ecosystem stay for longer, which causes prices to go up, which attracts more people, raises TVL, and you can get this positive feedback loop. And I think I would say that we've seen that in Sonic recently, where all of these stats have basically been moving up together over the past few weeks. And I know what a lot of you are thinking right now. You're thinking, but that's all retroactive. This already pumped. What should we be looking for now? And so I'm going to show you how you can use DefiLlama to find opportunities like that in the future. To start, we're going to go to the homepage here, and you're going to want to go to the chains section. And I like this. I think of each chain kind of like its own economy. So if money is flowing into the chain, it's like money entering a new economy. And then the pattern that I look for would be, you could look at 1 day, right? It's a little bit less significant than the others. You could look at 1 day, but what I want is I want at least 7-day and 1 month increasing, and ideally maybe even 1 day if you're looking on a shorter time frame. And I want the 1 month change to be greater than the 7-day change. And in cases like bearer chain here, where there's nothing for 1 month, that just means that it didn't exist a month ago. So by definition, the 1 month change would be greater than the 7-day change. And the reason why I want that progressive growth there is that this means that it's growing consistently, right? If you have one that's up in 7 days but down in a month, that basically means that it dipped more than 7 days but less than a month ago, and then it rebounded but not all the way, right? We want something that's been growing consistently. So a few that fit that criteria here. Bearer chain, maybe worth looking at. Hyperliquid, that's another interesting one. To start, let's look at bearer chain. If you hop over to their page, then you can see that it's a very new chain, just over a week old. However, a ton of money has been entering it. The TVL, again, the deposits in DeFi applications on bearer chain, they're up from $777 million in the first day to over $3 billion now. If we look at volume, we see a similar but less drastic story where, although the highest day was a week ago, it does seem to be forming a stronger base in volume. And then the next thing I would do would be I would actually look at the price. And the reason for this is I want to see TVL that is outpacing the price of the token. So we can see here that after the token price crashed in the first few days, there was an opportunity where TVL was growing, and that could have been a sign that it was going to rebound. If you go back in time about a week, then you would see that the token price is up around 10%. Nothing to scoff at. However, TVL is up over 50%, so substantially more. And similarly to Sonic, if you look at recent listings, you might notice that there have been several dozen applications listed on Berachain in a very short period of time. So Berachain might be worth paying attention to. If you want more frequent analysis like this early, check out my newsletter, newsletter.dynamodefi.com. Every week we send out a piece of on-chain analysis, and then for premium subscribers, just $11 a month, you get more frequent analysis, such as this monthly group Zoom call. And in our presentation this month, we actually talked about the Sonic ecosystem as one of the top ecosystems to pay attention to in February. If you want YouTube to show you more videos like this, be sure to like this one and subscribe. Until next time, this is Dynamo DeFi.